Enter mode.
Okay, it is on. Hello! Hi everyone! So, we are back again today with the game I am continuing, because I was supposed to play this today. Yeah, some things are still broken. I was not able to get everything fixed last night. And I still have some things to complete. So, I didn't really get a chance to work on it as much last night. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. Wow, you've been subbed for 10 months. It's alright. That is, like, most of my channel life. Wow. So that means you've probably been subbed since I got affiliate then. That's wild. That is actually kind of wild to see. But yes, thank you for the head pats. I'm gonna drink some water before we get into it. Click on game, please. There we go.
Do a barrel roll.
Hi Nithya, how are you doing? So one thing I've noticed is with my hands look huge, and I don't know why. I think it's something with the new program I'm using to display my model. I don't know why, but my hands look huge. Like, why are they so big? It's not inherently a bad thing, but I don't know why they're so big. I'm gonna have to mess with that later. But yeah, they are. I don't know why. Like, they're bigger than my fucking face. Anyways, that's a later fix. It's alright. I don't know why. Exactly. Easier to peel oranges that way. How has everyone been doing? I hope we've all been doing well. I do feel like we're getting really close to the climax of this game. Stressed? Oh no. How come? Hi Nithya, bye Nithya. Yeah. So Sala's stuff has changed. And Kano's stuff has changed. Yeah, good luck with your homework. That's gonna be a pain. Also, I'm just gonna do a thing here quick, I just realized. Can I... No, I have to do it in the other one. I am facing a different way than I usually do. Where is the mirror? Because then I'm not looking where I'm supposed to be looking, which is not what I want. Where? How do? I don't know where this is. Oh, I closed my fucking tracking program. Give me a sec. I am a dumbass today. Thank you for the lurk. I'm very dumb. Well, give me a second. Very, very dumb. There it is. Open. While I'm here, where is the mirror for it? I know you can do it. No, I can't. Nope, I can't. I guess I'll do that later. Hi, Dryad! How are you doing? Thank you. I like this outfit too. It's very comfy. Don't mind the fact that I'm frozen right now. I'm fixing it. Oh, there it is. Haha! Now I'm facing the right way. Because the reason I do that is so when I'm looking at my main monitor, I'm looking either at this screen, and then if I'm looking at chat, I'm looking at chat beside me. So that's why I was trying to mirror it. Oh, so I'm not in the right position. Can I reset this? Give me a sec. Why am I... The joys. The joys, the joys, the joys. There it is. God damn it, Dryad. Please don't beat me up. Please don't beat me up. I beg of you, Dryad. But yeah, that is kind of what it's based on. Well, that's the other way. Yeah, there's a better look at it. I did not do this design. I found it somewhere and I'd have to check where I got it from. I don't remember. Oh, I fucked up my focal length. It's fine. It's completely fine. I swear. Oh. Yeah, that's kind of fair, Dryad. I haven't even gotten to the game yet. This is where we're at today. I need to stop fucking with my stuff. After this, I'm not allowed to change over my stuff again. Thank you, Dryad. Good luck with your stuff. Alright, let's actually get into the game so I stop messing with my stuff. I know it's new, I know it's a new pretty toy, and I need to stop messing with it. I'm having another drink of water first, and then we'll get into it. I don't want this one. This one's warm. There we are. I have one water bottle that I just filled, so it's like a bit warmer than the rest of them. Which is awful. And don't worry, I'm very well hydrated. I keep like 3 1.5 liter bottles beside me. Let's go Kano's route first, and then we'll go from there. The car moved at a glacial pace towards the crime syndicate's hangout. Stanley pounded his fist on the steering wheel in frustration. They had no sooner set out than the traffic slowed to a near standstill. Despite the occasional lurch, it never crept above a crawl. Kano stewed in the passenger seat. The case was rapidly getting out of hand. Now I had to worry about the safety of both Maria and her sister Hitomi. Never mind the fact that Detective Tatsuno had also gone missing. There were too many unknowns, too many uncertainties. His unease was growing unbearable. Also, Tatsuno hasn't radioed in, and we can't reach him from our end either. Kuze's words kept echoing inside Kano's head. What could have caused Tatsuno to drop out of contact? Someone had gone after Hitomi while Kano and the others were busy trailing the Itachi case. Could Tatsuno have been... No, it couldn't
Do a
be.
barrel roll!
Kano was sure Tatsuno would have done whatever was necessary to keep Hitomi safe. Stanley broke the long silence. What's on your mind? Hi, Angel. I'm sorry, I like this game. It's the one I was supposed to be playing today anyways. Because I technically was not supposed to stream yesterday. But I lost track of days, and I don't regret streaming yesterday. It was a good stream. How are you doing, Angel? I hope you're doing well. But yes, things are gonna... You know how it is. You know how it is. Good luck with work. I'm glad you're alive. Thank you. That seems to be what everybody's done today. Is just come in to bug me quick before they head off. Cause Nithya did it, Dryad did it, Travis did it, and now you're doing it, which is really funny to me. I appreciate everyone's support to come say hi before heading off. Oh no, don't be sorry about it. It's the thought that counts, really. I don't care if you guys stay the entire time, but the fact that you guys take a moment to even just come say hi means a lot. Yeah, no, it's really sweet that even though you have to go do something else, you're just yeah, I can take a minute to go say hi, instead of being oh yeah, they're live, and continuing on your way. The fact that you take a moment to just come say hi, it's so nice. I like that. I like it a lot. I'll start at the top of this one. Stanley broke the long silence. What's on your mind? Still thinking about that call from Kuze? Kano didn't answer. Look, if you're worrying about that other detective, the guy couldn't even protect one girl, Stanley continued. Not exactly a ringing endorsement. Don't you talk about Detective Tatsuno that way. I'm concerned about Hitomi Osawa, but the missing Itachi case needs to come first. Stanley's expression remained stone cold. Kano flashed him a sidelong glare, then went back to staring out the window. A moment later, a flurry of motion in the nearby alley caught his eye. With a start, he recognized Sasayama. His fellow detective was caught in an altercation with a man in dark clothes. Kano sprang to action, his body moving almost before his mind registered the situation. Sasayama! Flinging the door open, he leapt out from the car. Hey, wait! Stanley called after him. But Kano was already sprinting towards the fight. Ugh! The other man knocked Sasayama onto a pile of garbage. As Sasayama struggled to get back to his feet, his opponent looked him down with a triumphant sneer. Kano finally got a good look at the man, and his eyes flashed with recognition. It was the perp who'd first taken the Itachi case back at the scramble. Tariq al-Karan. You! Kano growled. He sped like a bullet to tackle Al-Karawan around the legs. But Al-Karawan nimbly said, ooh, I need to get pronunciation hard. Very hard. What is in my hands and since when? Wait, what? Cool. I don't know why that triggered, but that's there now. Well, I need to fix some things, obviously. But Alcaron nimbly stepped aside. Kano's arms closed around nothing but air. At the same moment, Alcaron deftly wrapped her arm around Kano's neck. Kano felt like a vice-like pressure on his cardioid artery. A move known as the front choke sleeper hold, constricting the cardioid artery stops blood flow to the brain, causing an opponent to lose consciousness, also known as a guillotine choke. His consciousness quickly began to slip away. "Oh no you don't, you bastard," he snarled. Lowering his center of gravity, he got hold of one of Alcaron's legs and used his shoulder as a fulcrum against it. Despite this arm still crushing his neck, Kano managed to lift his opponent high into the air. He continued the movement to heave Alcaron up and over himself, slamming him upside down into the heap of trash. Stanley strolled up to the aftermath of the struggle. "Well, you've got the brawn part down," he said. Yeah, it was actually really cool. Good job, Kano. I love Kano. He's so sweet. He's probably my favorite out of the characters next to Tama. Tama kinda takes first place. Need some work on the brains. Alcaron was sprawled out atop the mound of refuse. He'd been knocked out cold. Sasayama coughed and sputtered. Kano went to help him to his feet, but Stanley stepped in between them. "What are you doing?" Stanley asked. "Helping Sasayama. What does it look like?" "We need to apprehend Alcaron first. He's not even conscious. Sasayama can come first." He pushed Stanley aside and crouched down alongside his partner. "Are you alright?" he asked. "Yeah," Sasayama groaned. "You bailing me out, though. Can't let the missus know about that." "Mum's the word," Kano said. He slipped an arm underneath Sasayama and helped him to his feet. "I managed to find the guy who had the attaché case," Sasayama said. "But when I tried to arrest him, this fella came out of nowhere and attacked me." He flashed Alcaron a nasty look. "So here we go again, disobeying direct orders," Stanley huffed. "What's the deal with the Japanese police anyway?" He shook his head in exasperation. Sasayama gave Kano a puzzled look, jerking some at the American. "Who's this guy?" "It's a long story," Kano said. He filled Sasayama in on the situation. "Enough chit-chat, hurry up and cuff this guy," Stanley said. Kano knelt down by Alcaron's unconscious body, flipped him over, and proceeded to cuff his hands behind his back. Kano paused. Alcaron's sleeve had slipped back from his wrist. "What's this?" The unconscious man had a tattoo of a two-headed scorpion on his left arm. Stanley strode over. "You find something?" he asked. "Yeah, I think this guy might be the ringleader." Seeing the image had reminded Kano of something he heard back at headquarters, that the head of the foreign syndicate had a scorpion tattoo. He relayed this information to Stanley. "I see." Stanley called up Kuze on his cell. "You'll be happy to know that the guy with the attaché case is still at large," he said. "Apprehending the ringleader at this point shouldn't be an issue. One of your so very capable subordinates gave us a big step forwards in the case here." "Wait a second," Sasayama murmured. "That was sarcasm, wasn't it?" Stanley hung up and called over to him. "You think you can escort this guy back to the precinct?" "Yeah, sure, seeing how very capable I am." Kano felt his phone vibrate. The display showed an incoming call from Numi. "Hello?" he answered warily, keeping his voice down. Stanley had him a little on edge. "It's me." It was Shizuo. God damn it, Shizuo. Sorry, just need to do something. There we are. Damn it! Kano thought he did not have time for this right now. But if he just hung up, he might be in even deeper hot water. Kano decided he had to take that risk, or better listen to what the old man have to say. What is that emote? I've never seen that. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Are we gonna hang up on Shizuo and probably lose out on our future wife? Or do we have to listen to this old man's rants? What are the thoughts? I'm taking another drink of water. Need to make sure I'm hydrated. There we go. We better listen to what he says, or else we're gonna lose out on Ruby, which is not good. Kano decided he better listen to what the old man had to say. Hello, sir? I'm afraid I'm really not at liberty to take a personal call right now, even if it is from my father-in-law. It is best to sound apologetic. I'm not your father-in-law. Yes, of course, sorry, sir. He bowed his head reflexively, feeling like an idiot. You really don't give a damn about keeping me waiting like this, do you? Sir, I swear to you, I feel terrible. Please, I just... Flustered, he took a deep breath and recomposed himself. I promise you, sir. I promise I'll be there. If you can just wait a little while... Don't make promises you can't keep. Shizuo's barking rebuke made Kano break out in a sweat. You think I'm gonna let you off the hook just because you're working a case? This is exactly why I don't want my daughter with some detective. Great, another angry tirade. But didn't you used to be a detective, sir? Kano muttered. Watch yourself, you little brat. It's not enough to keep you calling me your father-in-law, and now you have to bring that up? Evidently, Kano had touched a raw nerve. Ever had a dentist hit a nerve while drilling a tooth? That's where this expression comes from. It seemed like anything he said only made matters worse. Well, you're not off the hook, Shizuo continued. I'm never letting my daughter marry the likes of you. His fury hitting a crescendo, Shizuo promptly hung up. Why on earth did Shizuo hold such intense malice towards police detectives when he'd been one himself? Kano had become a detective for Adumi's sake in the first place, and now it is the biggest thing holding him back. Hey, come on, let's go. Stanley's voice snapped Kano out of his daze. Ugh. Grimly, he followed the American back to the car. Yet again, Stanley was thumping the steering wheel in frustration. Well, this game was originally in Japanese. It's a very, very Japanese game. So, I'm glad there's a translation for it, because I can't read Japanese. But the game is actually, whoever did the translations did a really, really good job. Because there's a lot of, like, little nuances to Japanese culture and stuff that the Westerners would not know, especially from when this came out, that do get explained. So actually, the translators did a really, really good job on this game. It's a visual novel, so it wouldn't be that much more interesting. And like I said, the translators did such a good job that any, like, portrayal of something that's really Japanese that Westerners wouldn't understand, they do actually go forth and explain it. So, it works really, really well. Whoever did the translation for it. So I actually think reading this one specifically in its native language would not be that much different than the English translation because the translators did a really good job. Traffic hadn't let up one bit. It was starting to look like they might never make it to the foreign syndicate's hangout. Kano caught sight of a girl in a hoodie, weaving her way between stopped cars on foot. He rolled the window down and called out to her. Miku Morita was a fighter at the cosplay fighting pub Bride, but just decided to retire after losing to Tamo, the cat, in a streets fight. She's thinking about what to do with herself now. It's Miku! I love her. Excuse me, miss. Did something happen? Huh? What do you mean? With the road, I mean. What's with all the traffic? Oh, right. Apparently there was some big accident over by the train station. That's probably what's causing it. Really? Yeah, I don't think you guys are going to be going anywhere for quite a while. She smiled and went on her way. Stanley gave the steering wheel another punch. Well, I guess they did say this wasn't just some typical ransom case, he muttered. Bye, Angel. Good luck with work. I will have a good rest of my stream. I'm really excited. The story's definitely ramping up into its climax. So it doesn't seem like that, but I can sort of tell that it's starting to ramp up towards its climax. So probably once we get into the next hour slot, a lot of shit's gonna go down. It's either the next hour slot or the one after that. Oh, my arm's itchy. Give me a sec. There we are. Kano saw an opportunity. If they're not after the money, then what are they after? Stanley kept his eyes forward, acting if he hadn't heard. Look, Kano said, I can't help you if you keep me out of the loop. After a few moments of thought, Stanley replied with a single monosyllable. Drugs. What? Marie's father, Kenji Osawa. I assume you're aware he works for Okoshi Pharmaceutical. I am. Nothing's been made public yet, but Osawa recently oversaw the development of a new drug. It is not at all uncommon for a new drug to be in development for 15 years or more, with expenses totaling 20 to 30 billion yen, roughly 200 to 300 million US dollars, before it is approved. Worldwide demand and sensational profits can be expected if a groundbreaking medicine is developed. Nonetheless, pharmaceutical companies are often under major pressure due to the tremendous cost of labor and equipment. And someone is trying to get their hands on it. Kano's mind latched onto this new information, trying to assemble the pieces of an evolving puzzle. Someone? Who? An international criminal mastermind. This foreign syndicate is merely a tool in someone else's game. Kano regarded Stanley's face carefully. He looked more cold and serious than ever. So wait, does that mean the reason we're letting this syndicate walk around unfettered is on my orders? Yes. I see. So the only thing you're really concerned with is catching this international mastermind. Precisely. Kano felt like he was starting to get a picture of what sort of person Stanley was. So you don't really what happens to the girl that's been abducted, do you? Not particularly, no. Why? Do you have a problem with that? Kano clenched his fist. His hand was shaking with anger. Dick Dictum, number 8. When you really want to punch something, you really probably shouldn't. That is something to live by. Holy shit. Yeah. That's a good motto to live by. That's a really good motto to live by. Kano recited the words inwardly, like some sort of desperate mantra. If he didn't manage to calm himself down, he was liable to face the slam of his fist right into Stanley's face. Outside the car, traffic remained at a standstill. Kano chafed against a feeling of utter futility. One after another, his uncertainties came to nag at him. Was Maria still safe? What happened to Hitomi and Tatano, her bodyguard? And now, on top of all this, it struck Kano as rather careless to send Sasayama away with Alcaran without any backup. Now that Jack had alerted him to the presence of a dangerous international mastermind still on the loose. Jack? We reintroduced him as Jack? Is his name Jack Stanley, or is his name Stanley? I don't know. Finding back his fit of pique, Kano got out his cell phone. To do something impulsively out of irritation, resentment, or something of the like, similar to doing something in a huff. So we can dial up Sasayama, or we can dial up Detective Kajiwara. I kinda want to make sure Sasayama's safe. But this one probably is gonna do things for us down the line. I want to see Sasayama's. He dialed up Sasayama. He wanted to make sure his partner had gotten Ankaroan back to the precinct safely. Sasayama picked up almost right away. Kano, what's up? How are things on your end? Any problems getting Alcaroan back? Nah, I've got Tatano taking care of him. Wait, what? Kano could hardly believe his ears. You were in touch with Tatano? He asked. He could hear the shock in his own voice. Yeah, just bumped him over by the precinct a little while ago. Then he is safe. Kano felt a surge of relief. What about Hitomi then? Stanley glanced over him, curious. Tatano says he lost track of her somehow. And then he got called back to the precinct, apparently. Tatano had lost track of her? That's not like him, Kano thought. Oh. Tatano is not on our side. 'Cause if I'm right, during this time block is when somebody, the knick-knack shop owner, saw somebody getting released from the handcuffs. I think Tatano. No, he couldn't be. Maybe? I don't know. Any which way, I don't think Tatano's on our side in this case. I have theories. I have many theories. I'll keep them to myself for right now. But I think... well, it's my channel. If I'm wrong, I'll figure out if I'm wrong. If I'm right, hey, cool, I can read foreshadowing. But I think... So it was obvious that clinical trials had been run by Osawa on a person close to him, which is likely, I'm gonna guess Hitomi had had trials run on her. And so they did end up kidnapping the wrong kid, and they were actually trying to get Hitomi because she might have some of the drug in her system. But I could be absolutely wrong on that case. I don't know. Either way, Tatsuno is not on our side. I'm 90% sure. I don't know. Oh. It's so intriguing. I don't know. Interesting. Things are starting to line up while also concealing itself. I see. Kano was glad to hear that Tatsuno was alright, but his relief was tempered by a surge of anger when he thought of what happened to Hitomi. Now I'm back to tailing the Itachi case, Sasayama continued. Today's my wife's birthday, you know. My plan is to wrap this thing up ASAP so we can celebrate tonight. If anything happens to Sasayama, I'm going to cry. I actually genuinely love Sasayama. He's so sweet. If anything happens to this man, I will absolutely cry. I've already got a present and everything. If anything happens to Sasayama, I'm going to cry. I envy you, man. Closing his eyes, Kano took a moment to picture Dumi. But Shizua's face popped into his mind's eye right alongside her. Well, just hang in there, buddy. Even if your girlfriend is just a picture of Masami Nagahama. Midoriyama Academy graduate and national celebrity, her popularity shows no signs of slowing down after she played female lead in such films as The Beast That Hoarded Gold at the Heart of the World and The Swidden Fortress. There is another nationally famous actress with the same name, but is nationally known fact that the two are completely separate people. Still snickering, Sasayama hung up. Kano bit his lip and slipped his phone back into his pocket. Why is it so dark? It's dark on my screen too, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. A moment. Where's my... There it is. Oh, okay. No, I guess it is supposed to look like that. I don't know. At long last, traffic began to move again. Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. The abrupt stop made Kano smack his head against the windshield. Hey, what gives? Look, Stanley said. He gestured with his chin. See? I fucking knew it. Kano couldn't believe his eyes. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Al-Katawan, very much not in custody. What the hell? Kano shouted, already hopping out of the car. Stanley was right behind him. They crept up on their target as silently as possible, then rushed him once they were close. In a moment, they had subdued him. Kano used his own body weight to hold Al-Katawan down. I don't know why it's so dark. I don't know if that's a glitch or something. I have no idea. What are you doing out here? He demanded. Whoa, guess you didn't get the memo, huh? Al-Katawan flashed a coy grin. They let me go. Let you go? I think your buddy here might have hearing problems, Al-Katawan said to Stanley. I'm a free man. Kano turned and glared at Stanley. What is he talking about? No idea. First things first, let's get this guy back to the precinct. I'll head to the syndicate hangout by myself. Don't you think this is weird? Kano said. I mean, what the heck is this guy doing on the loose again? What matters is that he is free. Maybe he's telling the truth about being let go. But that's ridiculous. Then I guess he must have escaped on his own, Stanley replied. In either case, your buddy screwed up royally. Now it's on you to unscrew things. None of this sat right with Kano, but the fact remained he couldn't just let Al-Katawan go. He gave Stanley detailed directions to the hangout, and the car sped away towards Yoyogi. Then Kano headed back to the precinct with his captive, trying to reassure himself that he might learn something from questioning Al-Katawan that would resolve the case. Kano sat opposite Al-Katawan in the interrogation room. He'd been attempting to interview the suspect for about a quarter of an hour. Al-Katawan sat ramrod stiff, not responding to any prompts or questions. What time is it right now? He asked. They'd taken away his watch, his wallet, a small knife, and his keychain. This was the third time he asked to know the time. Why are you so concerned what time it is? Kano asked. Al-Katawan gave no reply. Are you waiting on something? Again, the suspect was staunchly silent. Kano wasn't sure what to make of this, but he took a look at his watch. It's around 2 o'clock, he said. What time exactly? It's 2:18. 2:18 and how many seconds? Look, just cut the crap. Kano grabbed the prisoner by the collar. What the hell are you people after? Al-Katawan merely repeated his question. What time is it right now? With a growl of aggravation, Kano shoved his wristwatch in Katawan's face. Ah, it's 2:20, Al-Katawan said. Okay then, that should do it. What? What does that mean? The interrogation went on for several more hours. Despite Kano's best efforts, however, Al-Katawan's had nothing more. During all that time, the case continued to develop in unexpected ways. But Kano, stuck in the interrogation room, knew nothing about it until everything was already over and done. I don't know why the screen keeps going bright, dark, bright, dark. Why is it doing that? Let me just do something. Can I have my mouse? No, that's not what I wanted. I want... There it is. There we go. So yeah, I was right about him being around. Interesting that Achi's story changed. I guess it was a good thing I didn't call Osawa. Or not Osawa, the other one. And then I know Minorikawa's is done. This one's at a keep out. So Achi's is the only one we can do. Stretch. I'm gonna skip forward because I know there's gonna be some of the same stuff. While I do that, I'm gonna have a quick snack. Oh, no. There's someone going on. Oh, that's no. What? They powered their phones on, but their phones back on and ooh. Speak. They powered their phones back on in order to call for help. Oh, Hitomi chirped. That's me. She took a look at the LCD display. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Ah, okay. Hitomi began typing out a response with practiced ease. More wild delusions rose in Nachi's mind. Ideas or fantasies conjured up in one's minds with no logical or factual base. People can become deluded for varying reasons about a whole host of different subjects. Thankfully, Achi's delusions here of a ultimately harmless sort. Wow, I can't read or speak right now. Give me a sec. There we go. Stealing a quick glance at Hitomi, he noticed her gazing happily at her phone screen. His delusions ran even more wild. Oh my god. Achi, no. Stop. While he was still fretting furiously, Hitomi finished typing a response. So, what did you wind up saying? Achi asked. I explained the situation. That we're trapped in a storeroom, and you've got some guys chasing after you, and you're looking for some van? Yes. I also happen to please keep this a secret from my family and the police. Whoever this Tanaka guy was, Hitomi sure seemed to put a lot of trust in him. A short while later, Hitomi's phone chimed in with a reply. I shouldn't be eating right now, but I'm hungry. She checked the screen in a flash, all eagerness. Achi couldn't help but ask. So, what's Tanaka got to say? Or did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice? I'm curious what Tanaka said. Achi couldn't help but ask. So, what's that Tanaka guy have to say? A hint of jealousy slipped into his voice. He says he's gonna try to find the minivan for us. Huh? If he just comes and lets us out, I can go look for it myself. He says he wants us to hide out here a little longer. Ugh, what the hell? Seriously? He says that if someone's after me, it's safer to stay where we are. Yeah, I'm out of the running, Achi thought to himself. This Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her. And there was really only one reason that middle-aged man would think like that. Alright, fine. We'll wait. Achi turned his own phone off, then slumped back in a huff. After 20 more minutes in the storeroom, the two sitting in silence, Achi had run out of things to talk about. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy. Susumu, I think it was? Sorry, I'm just grabbing something for myself. Where did I put it? As I knock shit over, it's fine. Hitomi's question caught Achi off guard. He stammered, unsure how to respond. Hitomi shook his head. I'm sorry. I barely know you. That was insensitive of me. No, it's alright. I mean, sometimes I wish things could go back to the way they used to be. Sorry, I am just looking for something. Ah, there it is. He let out a tiny sigh. What that Kiryu guy said was the truth. I was the guy who founded SOS. Do you know what I mean by that? Hitomi gave a slight nod. I mean, I never wanted to be in charge of a gang or anything. But I knew that if I left SOS would just fall apart. And I didn't want everyone else to get caught up over who would take my place, you know? Sorry, I'm being distracted. It's fine. It's so quiet in the game right now, which doesn't help when I'm trying to look for something. So I thought long and hard about it, looking for a way for folks to stay friends even after I was long gone. A loud voice echoed through the pool hall that served as SOS HQ. An establishment for playing pool, more formally known as pocket billiards. This particular place is a pool bar serving alcohol. The standard pool table is rectangular in shape, sports 6 pockets, 4 in each corner and 1 in the middle of each long side, and supports multiple games, including 9-ball, 8-ball, and rotation. There are also tables without pockets. This style is known as carom billiards. What do you mean you're leaving? Susumu was positively red in the face. You're our founder, Achi. You can't just up and quit. Susumu had almost been like a younger brother to Achi. If anyone was going to try and stop him, Achi knew full well it would be Susumu. Look, I'm not gang leader material. All I've been trying to do is make sure we're all able to have fun. That's not true, Susumu said. Think about all that stuff you taught us. Don't you remember? Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Those are your words, Achi. Did I say that? It's the heaviest thing you ever said. Then to Achi's consternation, Susumu got down on his hands and knees. I'm begging you, please don't leave. Without you, SOS is nothing. Achi could feel his conviction waver. I'm begging you here, from one man to another. This is my one request. Susumu, I'm sorry. Achi could barely croak out the words. I'm leaving you in charge. You can't, Susumu pleaded. Please don't say that. Achi turned his back on it to him in silence. Please, Achi, why won't you listen? I can't possibly beg any harder than this. Enough with all that request nonsense, Achi grimaced. What? Look at you, down on your hands and knees like that. Pathetic. Ultimately stems from the Greek pathetikos, meaning subject to feeling or capable of emotion. Over time, the meaning changed to signify exciting the passions, and later on to the more modern sense of arousing one's pity. Achi spoke harshly as he could, fighting to mask his true feelings. I'm fed up with you, all of you. With each word out of his mouth, Hachi could feel his own heart breaking. But if he could make the others hate him, at least it would give SOS a reason to stay together. How can you say that? Don't you try to pull that crap. Susumu's tone had changed from sadness to anger. Fine then, he railed. I'm never asking you for anything again. I'll do what you want. I'll take the reins of SOS. Hachi walked away, waving vaguely without looking back. Good luck. I mean it. Once he stepped out of the pool hall, he wiped his sleeve across his face and came away wet with tears. Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys and we could go back to the good old days again. But that's never gonna happen. Not unless Suzune gets better. He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he sorted out how he felt about his former pals. Is there nothing that can help your sister? Hitomi asked. She needs a heart transplant. And the problem with the heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. The act of surgically implanting one's heart into another's body. Such an operation is typically only performed on a patient with severe heart disease who cannot survive without a new heart. There are strict requirements that must be met before a heart can be transplanted. However, chief among them, the donor must first be brain dead. Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be performed within 4 hours, or things get dicey. Because of lack of oxygen caused damage, referred to as warm ischemia damage, in any organ removed from a human body, a transplant must be carried out and blood circulation restored within a certain window of time, known as the total ischemic time. Oh, I'm sorry. Medical stuff, my body's naturally grimacing. Within the case of a heart transplant, total ischemic time is only 4 hours. Helicopters and charter jets are frequently used to rapidly transport hearts for such operations. Oh wow, I didn't realize. Someone with a heart that's a match for Suzune would need to die somewhere near here, somewhere they can perform the surgery within that 4-hour window. The odds of that happening are so small, it would almost be a miracle, which is what my sister's been waiting for. Hachi thumped the left side of his chest. If my heart would do the trick, I'd gladly let her have it. Damn it, and I've got a strong heart too. He thumped himself on the chest again and again. He didn't mention it to Hitomi, but Suzune's blood type made finding her heart a transplant even more difficult. She had Bombay blood, a type of blood that does not correspond to the more common types of A, B, O, or AB. In some instances, a standard blood type yielding results of O in such individuals. First discovered in the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, on India's west coast. The blood type takes its name from the city due to its relatively high incidence rate amongst the inhabitants. It was one of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently there were only a few dozen people in all Japan who had it. Rare blood types such as Bombay are scarce enough that even nationwide blood centers seldom have them in sufficient supply. For this reason, when blood types are discovered in everyday testing, samples are quickly taken to be frozen and stored at temperatures lower than 80 degrees below centigrade. Oh. Sorry, I'm doing the heebie-jeebies. Give me a sec. Oh. I can't talk like this. I don't know. It gives me the worst heebie-jeebies in the world. If Suzune were ever to receive a heart transplant, they would need to be from somebody who also had Bombay blood. Achi? Hitomi sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Wow, she must really feel bad for Suzune. If you did manage to find a heart for your sister, what would you do? What do you mean? Say if you happened across somebody who was a donor match. I would do anything. Anything? Yeah, whatever it took. I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. I mean, at that point, I assume God granted me a miracle or something, you know? Mr. Tanaka? Terrifying. Unfortunately for these two, it's not Mr. Tanaka! Right now, Tanaka's at a Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch. Hitomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. Maybe it's just a cat? Achi suggested. Or not. So this one has 2 jump points in it. Suddenly, someone hit the door, hard. It sounded like they were trying to break the lock. You really think that's Tanaka? Achi asked. I'm not sure. If it were him, I think he'd probably say something. Achi grabbed Hitomi's hand. We'd better hide. The 2 of them slipped behind a large piece of plywood, stage dressing. The door swung open with a loud creak. Ah, fuck, it's him. In stepped the man with the cane. What the heck? Achi whispered. What's he doing here? Gun drawn, the assassin prowled slowly around the storage room. Achi and Hitomi crouched behind the plywood prop, trying to not make a sound. The man moved out of their line of sight. Achi gazed longingly at the door. Achi risked a peek around the corner of the plywood. He still couldn't see the man with the cane. The door was maybe 5 meters away. What should they do? Ooh, that's hard. I don't think it's safe right now. This might be our downfall, but I don't think it's safe right now. No, they need to wait for a safer chance to escape. Achi heard the sound of a cell phone vibrating from a tall piece of plywood leaning by the door. The assassin stepped out from behind it. He still hadn't spotted his quarry. I'm sure this is the place. His voice was low and confident. Uh-oh, did he have friends? Still clutching his phone, the assassin wandered deeper into the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi took the opportunity to slip out the door. Ha! I was right. They ran through the alleyways back towards the main road. Before they reached it, however, they suddenly found their path cut off by one of the foreigners who chased them earlier, the accomplice of the man with the pipe. He stood waiting for them, holding a knife in one hand. Out of the frying pan into the fire. If they turned back, Hachi knew the man with the cane might catch up with them. And he had a gun. Give me a sec. Shh, it's okay. Achi slipped off his sleeveless jacket and wrapped it around his left arm. He was going to have to use his left arm to guard against the knife, while punching with his right hand. He clenched his fists and braced himself. And suddenly, he froze. Huh? A small dark silhouette dropped from somewhere up above. Landing deftly, the newcomer lunged towards the man with the knife, closing the gap between them in a blink of an eye. Ugh! The figure delivered a swift chop to the back of the man's neck. He dropped to the pavement like a dead man, finally giving Achi a clear view of the shadow behind him. It's her. Achi couldn't believe his eyes. It was a small-statured young woman with the Middle Eastern features. Hitomi let out a little gasp. Kanan? I don't know who Kanan is. But we do have a couple of jump points. So I'm gonna do the one for Osawa's first because it's so close to the end. So we'll probably just finish that up and it'll go to a to be continued. And then we'll do Tama's jump point and go from there. See? Director, if you have a moment. Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've something urgent to discuss with you. Yes, of course. Osawa took the bug tracker from his pocket and handed it back to Kajiwara. I won't be needing this anymore. As soon as I left the kitchen, Tanaka leaned in close and whispered to him, I've got an email from Hitomi. He showed his cell phone to Osawa. It looks like my sister is being held captive in a blue minivan somewhere in Shibuya. But that means the man is still chasing me, so I can't really go look for it. A blue minivan? Allow me to handle this, sir. I'll figure something out. Osawa knew he trusted Tanaka for a reason. Thank you, he said with a bow. Oh, you wouldn't have happened to know any place she might have gone, do you, sir? What? It's just, all she told me is she's been moving around. I'm sorry, I don't really have any idea, Osawa replied. He was ashamed to say it. There wasn't a single place he knew of where his daughter might be inclined to go. Ah, I see. Tanaka picking up on his discomfort, was visibly embarrassed with himself. He hastened to change the subject. By the way, how did your talk with Mr. Makino go? I confirmed he was behind the human testing, but I don't know who sent me those emails. Tanaka paused for a moment and thought, looking he might have a hunch. All right then. We'll have to talk about it in more detail later. With that, the assistant director headed for the front door. Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara spoke from the kitchen door. Peeping on me again, huh? Osawa grumbled. Thankfully, it didn't appear the detective had overheard his conversation with Tanaka. And good grief, that thing is noisy. If it's broken, why don't you just throw it out? Sounds from the bug tracker grew fainter and fainter. Something wasn't right, Osawa now realized. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara said, this is my bug tracker. So, Osawa huffed, what I mean is, sir, this one isn't broken. What? A chill? The fucking music just decided to pop the fuck out. A chill ran up Osawa's spine. He swallowed audibly. I've pinpointed the source of the signal, Kajiwara said. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka. No, Osawa thought. I must have misheard that. Hold on. Say that again? I've located the source of the signal. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka, the detective repeated. This time, Osawa heard him crystal clear. I'm certain of it. Mr. Tanaka has a listening device on him. Osawa felt the blood draining from his face. If someone had been listening in on the conversation just now, then they'd heard about the email from Hitomi. If the kidnappers were the ones listening, that means Maria's life was now in danger. I'll go after him, sir. Kajiwara broke into a sprint. Osawa followed close behind. Yep, that one's to be continued. I like where things are going. They are ramping up very, very nicely. I'm gonna take a quick second to eat something. I am very much liking where this is going now. But you can see what I mean, like, we're definitely ramping up to a climax. And we'll probably hit it at the end of the next hour. And the hour after that will be the climax, I'm guessing. Let me try that again. One moment. The sales demo is over, and against all odds, I managed to get paid. Money clutched in one paw, I head back to the knickknack shop to finally buy that necklace I can't stop thinking about. Hello? Anyone here? I call out. There's no reply. Is the shopkeeper out? Don't mind me, my mouth is full. I have one more bite left, I swear. It's such a cute little shop, though. I really like it. Here we go. Ah, just one moment. Panting, the sales clerk comes scurrying into the shop behind me. Sorry about that. I just had to pop out for a sec. Whew, you would not believe what I just saw. He leans against a pillar, gasping audibly as he tries to catch his breath. Ah, you're here about the necklace. Do you still have it? Of course. Thank you so much. I have half the money here and the rest is my... Oh. I suddenly remember something very important. Oh no. The sales clerk gives me a curious look. What's the matter? My wallet, it's still in here. I pat my costume around the tummy. So why don't you just take that outfit off? Well, I mean, the zipper's kind of broken. I wouldn't be having all this trouble if I could just get out of this darn costume. Kind of broken? It's way more than broken than that. Sales clerk points to me a full-body mirror. He's right. The zipper in the back is hanging open. Taking this thing off will be a cinch now. Oh, thank you. I give him a bow. I'm not sure why you need to be thanking me, he says. No, I do. If you hadn't pointed that out, I might have let myself stay stuck in here forever. So really, thank you so much. I bow again and again. We finally get to see who's in the costume. I was right! See, I was right. Maria was the one in the costume. Meaning they might be trying to kidnap Hitomi because somehow they lost Maria. And because Maria's been stuck in the costume all day, nobody would know it was her if they were trying to look for her. But yeah, she got smacked up on the side of her head with amnesia and got left in a storeroom somewhere. And just, left. See? I fucking knew it. Okay, so the only one we have to switch is Kano's, and we'll be able to move over to the next hour. But I was right! It was Maria in the costume. And I was right about the amnesia. And this is exactly how I tell that we're ramping up to the finale. So this one needs to get changed over. He dialed up Detective Kajiwara, who was stationed at the Osawa residence. He hoped a little more information about the family's two daughters might shed some light on the situation. The detective answered promptly. Kajiwara here. Hey, it's Kano. Kano? A horrid jarring beeping was audible from the other end of the line. What's that noise? Kano asked. Sorry, hold on, I can't really hear you. Okay, go on. It sounded like Kajiwara had moved away from the source of the noise, though Kano could still hear it faintly in the background. He explained he was looking for more info on the Osawa girls. Honestly, Detective Kano, I thought you were more mature than this, Kajiwara said disapprovingly. Come again? Kano said, bewildered. What's with the attitude all of a sudden? Got a little crush, don't you? Kajiwara told him. What? No, Detective, that isn't why. You mustn't let yourself get personally attached to an investigation. Still, I was young and impulsive myself once. I guess I can tell you one thing. Kano kept his cell phone pressed tight against his ear. The two girls, they look exactly alike. Kajiwara kept his voice low, as if he were revealing a major secret. But Kano knew this already. Everyone assigned to the investigation had been informed that the girls were twins at the previous night's briefing. However, Kajiwara continued, still sotto voce, their personalities are pretty different. The younger sister Hitomi is quiet and reserved, but Maria's apparently more of a busybody. Ah, I see. Kano thought back on Hitomi standing in front of the statue of Hachiko. She indeed seemed like an introvert, but Kano had so sensed her intense commitment to helping her sister. Perhaps she was less demonstrative, but her heart certainly seemed to be in the right place. Why? Kano heard someone shouting in the background wherever Kajiwara was. What was that just now? He asked. Mr. Osawa, the girl's father. I think something might have happened. Kajiwara's voice was laced with concern. I should go see what this is all about. Yeah, probably. But Kano, tell me, yes? Which one is it? Which one do you have a crush on? Kano hung up. Respect. At long last, the traffic began to move again. Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. The abrupt stop made Kano smack his head against the windshield. Hey, what gives? Look. Okay, so that's the same. Okay, no, we get the bad end again. And accidentally reset our progress on that. Hi T, how are you doing? Still cataloging Tetris games? Respect. How is that going? How many more you got? Okay, so that fixes that. So how... Everything else goes to be continued, meaning I need to make a different choice somewhere. I should check the hint on this back at the end. I genuinely don't know what I need to change. While Kano performed admirably in recapturing Tariq Karouan, ironically his action actually disrupted the investigation. Maybe letting the syndicate run free for the time being really was the right call. Someone can do something at 1340 that throws a wrench into Kano's activities, thanks to the involvement of unrelated parties, and Kano's reaction will make the investigation play out differently. Okay. You're in 2002 now. Hey, 1 year after I was born. 1340? 1340. Wow, yeah, you've done a lot. No, I want to be back on this. 1340. So they can change. Do I need to get out of the costume? Maybe. That's only a 12-year gap. It's not that bad. It's time I skinned this cat. The exact origin of the phrase, "there's more than one way to skin a cat," is uncertain and a matter of some dispute. Though it appears to have arisen in the latter portion of the 19th century, it's hard to imagine why anyone would want to conjure such a gruesome mental image. I need to get rid of the costume, whatever it takes. I take hold of the head in both hands and yank it upward as hard as I can. Oh? Please tell me I'm just imagining things. The head feels a whole lot looser than it did before. If I give it a good enough push, then maybe... Ah! It comes off. I did it. I slip out of the rest of the cat costume and gleefully abandon it as I head for the knick-knack shop. Oh. What happens if I do the keep out again? Oh, so Achi's ending's different now. Because I'm... No, did I make backwards progress? Or do I need to do this again? We'll see. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You've read this. Do not mind my incessant clicking. There we go. Click, 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 click. We read this. I'm curious why this one changed. I don't know. The doorknob rattled ominously. You really think that's Tanaka? I'm not sure. I think if it were him, he'd probably say something. Okay, we've seen this. The doors. What the fuck? The door swung open with a loud creak. In stepped a cat. Oh, it's just a kitty cat. A giant kitty cat walking upright. Achi and Utami stared in confusion as someone in a cat costume slipped into the room. There was something vaguely sinister about the fuzzy figure. The cat had both hands stuffed into his pocket and shuffled as it walked, dragging one leg. Why would the, because that's obviously the man with the cane. Why would he get into the cat costume? You think that's someone with the theater troupe? Achi whispered. Maybe? The two huddled in the shadows, pressed almost cheek to cheek. They watched as the cat rifled around inside of its pockets, then pulled something out. It was a bundle of keys. No doubt the ones they had used to get inside. Nope. Well, yes, but no. There's some bad ends where they can die, but this is not a game where people are going to not. I can already tell you by the end of this game, none of the playable characters are gonna die. They can die in bad ends, but you go and you remedy the bad ends so that they don't die. So, yes and no. Achi's eyes fixed on the furry mitt that held them. It was stained dark red. That could only be one thing. Blood. That moment, Achi finally realized what was going on. That's no theater guy. It was the assassin. He used the cat's suit to slip past the theater people, and then somehow gotten his hands on the storeroom keys. Now he tossed the keys away, then delicately adjusted the costume's wobbly head. Hitomi, we gotta run. Huh? Hitomi seemed frozen, mesmerized. Holy shit, that's so scary! What the fuck? Oh my god, that is so scary! What the fuck? Put that away. Put that away. Oh my god. The cat turned directly towards them. The fur around its mouth was stained crimson. That's so fucking scary. Oh my god. Hitomi let out a high-pitched cry of shock. The cat drew its other hand out of its pocket. Clutched in its mitt was a gun. Achi and Hitomi had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Fuck. What the fuck? Do you think the people making the game had a hard time posing seriously due to dumb confrontations? Everyone in this seems pretty professional, and it helps that it's done in pictures, but yeah, I'm sure, like, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff where they're just laughing their fool heads off when they get the scene described to them. I just want to read the hint on this. So that's not the solve, but I'm kind of glad we did it to see that end. There is a jump point we can grab from here, so I'm just wondering what happens if I do that. That is officially like the scariest bad end in the game. That's so freaky. Ba-ba-ba. Speedrun this game? No, I wouldn't speedrun this game. I don't think this game has multiple endings, though. You can collect the bad ends. I don't think I'm gonna go back and do that. That's just gonna be so much fucking work. Oh, so it's a visual novel? Why would you speedrun a visual novel? I'm impressed with anyone who does, but they're... Visual novels aren't meant to be speedrun. I don't know. That might just be my opinion. Oh no, it's still a keep out. So... I'm kind of glad I didn't get to see that ending. It's probably my favorite bad end. That was fucking wild. Okay. So that's not who we change at 340. That one is likely also not the change. That one's not the change. So either Osawa or Minorikawa I need to change. Yeah, that's fair. I also don't do speedruns. I don't enjoy them, really. I can understand why people enjoy them, but I'm not a speedrunner. No, nothing really came to his mind. It's about time to wrap this up. Thank you for your time, Mr. Yanagishita. If you'll excuse me, though, I have to get to another interview. Oh no, of course. Allow me to walk you out. Yanagishita rose to his feet as Minorikawa got up to leave. Oh, that won't be necessary. No trouble, I'm heading out myself. Gotta run before those guys show up. What guys do you mean? Oh, nobody. Just a personal thing is all. They parted ways outside the building, and Minorikawa headed off to the cafe to put his article together. So what difference do we get? Perfect timing. Is this the same? It is. And now Kano's has changed, meaning Mr. Yanagishita is going to cause a distraction. Am I good at visual novels? How do you be good at visual novels? I mean, I guess there's like picking up on things, but they're just stories? I don't know. So far I've gotten through this game pretty well. I've only ever had to actually look up a walkthrough for this game once because I just couldn't solve how to get through to the next hour, but most of the time I can get through pretty easily. But this one's kind of a special case scenario. It's really, really fun. I do really like this game and I really like its story. Hence why I've been kind of binge playing it. I think I'll probably get 2-3 more streams out of it. We'll see. We're very close to the climax. At long last, the traffic began to move again. Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. Hey, it's Yanagishita! A frantic-looking man had jumped out in front of the car. Whoa, hey, what the hell are you doing? Kano sputtered. The stranger plastered his face against the passenger side window. Open up, he shouted. Open the door! The guy showed every sign of total panic. Junshi Yanagishita, something happened just after you parted ways with Minorikawa, and now he's running this way, and in a panic at that. Don't do it, Stanley warned. Kano hesitated. It wasn't like he could just drive off with this fellow clinging to the car. I love Yanagishita. Holy shit. Please, you gotta help me. The man slipped his fingers through the gap in the window, trying to force it open. Help me. Whoa, hold on. What's your deal? Help me. Sir, just tell me what. Help me. Look, up ahead, Stanley exclaimed suddenly. Kano whipped his head around. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Al Kadoan, very much not in custody. What the hell? Kano tried to jump out of the car, but the frantic stranger had gotten his upper body wedged in the window and the door wouldn't open. Stanley, his usual steely expression replaced with a look of shock, exited on the driver's side and went after Al Kadoan himself. Kano shouted at the man in the window. Ah! I fucking love Yanagishita, holy shit. Alright, do we have thoughts? Should we tell Yanagishita to get out of the way, tell Stanley to wait, or tell Yanagishita to get in the fucking car? Ooh, and crunchy. Should let the crazy man into the car? Alright. Get in. If the guy was that desperate to get inside, Kano wasn't about to stop him. Besides, he needed to get the guy to calm down and let go of his arm. Ow! The man yelped. Let go, let go! He was the one holding on. Why was he demanding to be let go? What the hell is going on? Just as Kano's thought was forming, the crazed stranger was backed out of the car, dragging with Kano with him. A pair of rough-looking men had grabbed him by his lower body. No! No! He screamed. I can't do 80 days hard labor! Somehow he was still managing to cling to the car door. Just give up and let go already, snarled one of the assailants. The pair shifted their grip and pulled even harder. Kano heard the sound of tearing fabric as the two dogs stumbled backwards. Just like that, the crazed stranger was stripped down to his boxers. He let out a pathetic wail. Oh, man! The two toughs burst out into uproarious laughter at the sight. Now's their chance. One of them managed to sputter. Oh, no. Fucking amazing. The pantsless man snatched up his ruined garment and bolted like a startled hare. To dart off at an incredibly quick, in the manner of a fleeing rabbit, Yanagishita runs a lot more like a rat than a rabbit, though. Still cackling madly, his two pursuers rushed after him. Kano was still staring in dumbstruck at the spectacle when Stanley returned to the car. No luck. I lost track of him. This doesn't make sense, Kano said, forcing himself to refocus on the case. Al-Kadawan was taken back to the precinct. What's he doing walking free? Stanley gave him a dubious look. Have you seriously not figured it out? He asked. Or is it some kind of strange Japanese joke I'm not getting? What are you talking about? Kano replied. Do you know something I don't? Evidently I do. Your detective Tatano let him go on purpose. See? I knew it. That's the only explanation. Enraged at the suggestion, Kano took a swing at him, but Stanley coolly caught his fist. It's not me who you should be punching, the American warned. It's Tatano. Abashed, Kano rated up Kuze on the wireless. Sir, did Detective Tatano bring Tariq Al-Kadawan into the precinct? It would appear that, Detective Tatano has gone rogue. Kuze replied with chagrin? I think so. He what? Surely Kano misheard. We've received an eyewitness account. Someone saw him allowing the suspect to go free. No, it can't be. We currently do not know Detective Tatano's whereabouts, or just what the hell is going on with him. After Kano ended the call, Stanley let out a low chuckle. Huh, I see. Looks like you had a traitor in your midst. Kano grabbed him by the collar. Stanley snorted. What are you trying to pull here? Tell me what you know, Kano snapped. All I did was state the facts. Look, I watched that man risk his life to talk down a would-be arsonist. He's a dyed-in-wool detective. He'd never betray anybody. I see, Stanley murmured. Then he's the real deal. Kano stared in surprise. He expected an argument. Good, he said. I'm glad we're on the same page. Tatano risked his life in order to get people to trust him. He's a dyed-in-the-wool spy, is what he is. Kano didn't have the words. He clenched his fist, trembling once more. He fumbled for his cell phone again. He dialed Tatano's number. The phone rang 5 times, but failed to connect. There has to be a reason for this, Kano murmured. Tatano must something we don't. Really now, Stanley scoffed. And what makes you so sure of that? Because Detective Tatano was sure in his kidnapping that this kidnapping wasn't about the ransom. Kano's mind drifted back to 9 o'clock that morning. Ahead of their stakeout at the Scramble, he was walking with Tatano through the halls of the Shibuya precinct. We're going to a bang-up job out there, Detective Tatano, he chirped. he was maybe a bit too excited about getting to take part in such a major case. Yeah, I knew that Tatano right now seems to be a traitor, but I don't know in what capacity. So right now, I'm on the same page as Kano is, in that I know Tatano's a traitor, but I don't know what in capacity. I really don't know. Tatano patted Kano on the back. Excuse me. You need to take a step back. You're not letting yourself see the forest for the trees. What do you mean, sir? What I mean is that this is no ordinary kidnapping. Tatano's words triggered a little revelation. You're talking about the location for the ransom handoff, aren't you? Kano said. It doesn't make sense for the criminals to pick such a major intersection. Warmer, Tatano replied. Kano frowned inwardly. He'd been so sure that was the answer. Have you thought about why they asked the sister to make the handoff? Kano thought of some more before answering. Because women are easier to deal with? He suggested. Colder. If that was the case, why not pick the mother? No, what worries me is the fact that those Sawa girls are twins. They're having us send someone to hand off who looks identical to the girl they kidnapped. What's going to happen when we do that? What is going to happen, sir? Kano asked. I'm not sure yet, but I have a feeling the kidnapper's plan hinges on it. The two exited through the precinct's main entrance. Up ahead, Rosa Building stood tall against a backdrop of bright blue sky. Tatano let out a quiet sigh. To think that so many terrible things are happening out there on such a beautiful day. Solve one case and another's waiting, he went on, as always. What is it about people that drives them to do such horrible things? A girl abducted out of pure greed. When I think of how her parents must feel, I almost can't bear it. They made their way towards the scramble. Tatano continued talking in a quiet voice. My father was a raging alcoholic. The house was always a complete mess. He was loud, violent, never had any money, and always reeked of booze. My mother, she would cry and cry. I was afraid to come home. Every day I stayed out playing as late as I could possibly manage. Kano could hear the pain in Tatano's voice. That life took too much of a toll on my mother. She died while I was still in grade school. And my father, he just got worse. I was there with him at the end, after he'd wasted away to almost nothing. Not the sort of childhood I'd ever wish on anybody. Sounds like you really went through a lot. Kano hated himself for uttering such an empty platitude, but he had no idea what else to say. Kano, as old as I am, I still don't really know what it is to be happy. I think that's probably because I've never known what it is to like to have a happy family. Tatano sounded so forlorn. The only happiness I know is how to protect, is other people's happiness. Kano heard in those words the soul of a true detective. I just hope you're ready. Kano did his best to keep his voice as calm and level as he could, lifting up his clenched fist. Because if I find proof that Tatano is innocent, I'm planting this right into your jaw. Stanley just cracked a wry smile. The traffic had finally diminished, and they rapidly drew close to their destination. The syndicate's hideout was in Tomigaya, to the southwest of Yoyogi Park. The ratty building looked like it might have come crashing down at any moment. The Black Lodge sign out on front looked deliberately ominous. Kano knew this place as a bar frequented by expats from various countries, as well as a hotbed of criminal activity. I'll take point, Stanley said. You back me up. He pulled a handgun from his suit pocket. It was a compact Glock, a model frequently used by the FBI or CIA. I've already read those, so I'm not gonna go into the tips again. Kano drew his own gun, and the two cautiously made their way inside. At the end of the hallway was a wooden door. Stanley signaled with his eyes. Kano gave a tiny nod, and Stanley kicked the door in. The stench of blood hit them as soon as they stepped inside. Kano let out a startled gasp. There were nearly a dozen bodies sprawled out across the floor. He recognized them all. They were men who had participated in the repeated attaché case handoffs. Each appears to have been stabbed to death. Stanley took a closer look. The blood's not fully dried. These guys weren't killed that long ago. Kano quickly scanned the bar, high and low, but there was no sign of a killer in hiding. There was no trace of Maria either. One of the fallen men let out a faint, strained groan. "Hey," Kano called, "stay with us." He hunched down beside the wounded man. Ugh. A brief, gurgled noise rose from the man's throat. He was clearly struggling to say something, but his voice was too garbled, too indistinct for Kano to make out any coherent words. Kanan. What was that? But there was no more. The dying man went limp and still. Fascinating. Because we just saw Kana. It's part of Achi's route. Things are coming to it. Oh. I want to continue playing this, but I am out of time for today. Oh! That's cool! You actually see her get out of the costume. Cute! I do love how they call her Maria, because very obviously it is Maria. But yeah, I like that. Yep, Tama is female. That was established pretty quick in Tama's story. Ah, that's really, really cool. I liked the little thing of her getting out of the costume. I think that's really cute. So, I'm out of time for today. I will be back at regular time tomorrow. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, you've missed a lot. You're not the only one. No, I highly recommend that if you have any interest in what's going on, either go back and watch my VODs or play the game yourself. It is so, so good. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's a very in-depth story. Everything feels very intertwined, which I like. Like, every time you do an action, you can see the repercussions, and it works really, really nice. So, let us see. Who do we want to raid today? And I need to get over to. That's what I'm looking for. So, we can raid Scotathan, Dex, or Corvus if we have... We might raid Scott. I know I've raided Scott the last few times, but I play favorites. I love this man. He deserves everything. So if we have any preference, please do let me know. As for my schedule, I will be streaming again tomorrow at regular time. At least I think at regular time. It might be delayed a little bit because I have some meetings I need to go to. What else do I got? Not much outside of that. So, let us raid over to Scott, I guess. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye!